Just hang on a second. I've got to change something after all this. You back? Just hang on. I was just saying, live stream number was 218. 218, good evening to everybody, and of course there's a crucial thing that I forgot, and that I forgot to turn the sound off on my computer, where I set the stream up in the other half of the studio, and of course now that was playing in the background, we can't have that. So welcome to everyone, and I hope you're able to join me. This is Christopher Daigan for the next in our live stream series. This is Wednesday the 15th of June, and boy, it's a cool, chilly evening. I know it was cold in Cape Town a few days ago. Thank you, Cape Town, for sending us some really chilly and wet weather. We had unseasonal storms and hail in the middle of June, the middle of winter this morning. Actually, 2 thunderstorms, which is very, very odd. And it is very, very cool and very, very cold this evening. Welcome to Johan, who's helping me this evening. Thank you, Johan, for coming here, for joining us this evening, and look forward to working with you again. And this evening's stream, of course, I've got a great mix of music from around the world, different styles, and I'm really throwing things around a little bit and changing things a little bit just to keep it fresh and interesting, including some of my own pieces and some classical pieces, something quite substantial this evening, and some popular things too. And it's just going to be a little bit different, as I said, and also not calm, but I think there's going to be an element of sort of a sustained, soothing smoothness through the program. Talking of smoothness, here comes little Wendy Pop. She's bringing her toy, her latest squeaky toy has come through as well. Let's just, a little Lucy at least. Come, Luce. Come, bring your toy. Yes, come, Lucy. No, you're not ready. Yes, you're going to come. Yes. Here's little Lucy. Before we even start, little Lucy's in on the action. Hello, Luce. Little Lucy's right here. Yes, Luce is ready for piano hour. Yes, you know the piano hour. It's another Wednesday, and you're ready to come part of the stream. How are you doing, Luce? Yes, you've had your dinner, and it's very cold, but you've got a furry coat. You've been snuggling in the duvet, and you've got a little squeaky toy, thanks to Alice at Wiley Park again. Thank you, Alice, for the squeaky toy, which Lucy thinks is rather jolly and has been having great fun with. Okay, Lucy, you're going to sit down there. So I'm really going to throw something a little bit different in this evening, and I'm going to start the program with an improvisation, which I don't normally do. An improvisation, just something I'm going to make up and see. That little improv I played at the beginning I think was quite fun. I might even carry on with that. And then the second piece in this very smooth but quite relaxed program, The Entertainer from Scott Joplin. This piece of music, of course, Scott Joplin, early 20th century African-American ragtime composer. Composed enormous amount of music. His Maple Leaf Rag sold over 1 million copies in his time, and his music largely fell into obscurity. It was something that people had kind of forgotten about. Then along came a film in 1970 or 72, I think it was, with Robert Redford, called The Sting, and this movie used all of entire soundtrack of Scott Joplin's piano compositions, including the theme song, The Entertainer, which we often know, many people know it as The Sting, because it was the piece of music used as the theme tune for The Sting. But beforehand, an improvisation of my own, just to start this evening's very mellow and smooth program. Michael. Good. That was Scott Joplin, the entertainer, or otherwise known as the theme tune from the film Sting. And before that, one of my own improvisations, just something to start the evening on a calm and gentle note. I always seem to end the programs with those improvisations. I thought it would be a bit of a change to swap it around. I'd like to play for you now 3 pieces of music that I've been a little bit inspired by, that I've discovered either a new piece on the internet or via this amazing resource of music that we have access to via the internet, or even an interpretation or piece of music, an arrangement that I never knew that was possible. So I'm going to start off with a beautiful little Chopin mazurka. These are little Polish dances. It's about 2 minutes long. Traditional Polish inspired dance by Frédéric Chopin. And often these pieces are played with great enthusiasm, with a rustic dance feel. But I was listening to a wonderful Polish pianist who I've become very fond of, and really listening to her interpretations, and heard something quite new and fresh and very authentically, almost hymn-like in the music, which I will try to use as an inspiration for my interpretation for this mazurka in C. To end off the 3 pieces, a beautiful composition by Edward Elgar, Chanson de Matin, a piece of music that's usually known in its violin or flute form, and I think it's going to fit very well into the selection. And the piece in the middle, a very new piece that I've only just found a recording, or I found a transcription of, from the French 17th century composer Jean-Philippe Rameau, from his opera Le Boréade. And this is a very beautiful ballet scene, a dance scene, a very beautiful interlude, you might say, in the opera itself. And a very wonderful piece that I've now discovered thanks to a young Icelandic pianist who's really making big waves amongst the international classical scene in recent years. And he has very interestingly, it's very interesting the way he compiles his programs with well-known classical pieces, as well as some lesser-known things and some of his own arrangements. He seems to be quite free and quite creative with the way that he treats the music, which I think is very inspiring. So I think this is very beautiful music in the middle from Rameau, and I'm sure you're going to be hearing me play it more than once in the few weeks coming up. 3 pieces of music there to carry on with our relaxed and smooth textured program. It's not relaxed and calm, but it's smooth. I'm trying to produce pieces of music and focus on pieces of music that has a certain fluidity to them and smooth qualities. So I ended off with the Chanson de Matin by Edward Elgar. Before that, a piece by Jean-Philippe Rameau from his opera Le Boreade. And starting off with the Mazurka in C major. I am going to include the titles on the Facebook and the YouTube posts. Unfortunately, this is Johan's very first time at managing the stream this evening with the cameras, and having to bring all the titles up is quite a challenge. So I thought, let's just keep it easy this evening, and I'm going to add them all in later on for you to see. So I'm going to carry on with 2 pieces of music which are quite substantial. I'm preparing a current session and talk which I'm going to be making available only to my subscribing customers or clients, you might say, which is the first in a session, series of a piece of sessions called Behind the Music. And I'll be pulling apart and dissecting and discussing quite intensively the Sonata in D minor, opus 31 by Ludwig van Beethoven. So I've been playing this piece quite a lot again. I did play it on one of the streams recently, but I'm really fascinated by the last movement in particular. It's such a hypnotic, beguiling piece of music. This relentless energy, the sense of the storm finally breaking and the rain pouring out continuously. The rhythm just keeps moving ahead and ahead with such subtle fluctuations of texture, melody, and complex structure, while actually changing very little. And it's a very satisfying end to the sonata. So I'd like to play for you now that third movement, the third movement from the sonata, opus 31 number 2. And then straight after that, one of my own compositions, a piece called Soledad, or Solitude. And this is from the album Indigo. I realized that Johan's looking at me because what's coming up is not what he's got on the printer. Coming up after that. So this Soledad, quite a melancholic, rather intense. Some people think it's a really lovely piece of music. I quite like it. I don't play it very often, but I think it's going to fit together with the Beethoven quite well. One of our own pieces there. Inward-looking composition, you might say, accompanied by the dulcet tones of little Lucy having a bark outside, and before that I played the last movement, the third movement of 3 sonata. I'm going to end off this evening's program with some quite gentle and smooth music with 2 compositions, very well-known pieces, one of which is the Humoresque by Dvorak. Dvorak's from Bohemian or Czech composer, spent some of his years in America, and during this time was very inspired by American folk music. And I think this is one of the pieces that bears that simplicity, that folksiness, that sort of good homely, with a beautiful little playera or Spanish dance number 5 by Enrique Granados. These are 2 pieces to end off this evening's program. But before that, here's little Wendy. We haven't seen or heard from Wendy for a while. Hello, Wendy Pop. Look at your sweet Wendy. Call her. Always does. Who's the sweetest little girl in the world? Wendy Pop hasn't been on screen for a a second. Okay, 3. Ending off there this evening with the Spanish Dance, number 5, by Enrique Granados, Spanish composer, and before that, the Humoresque by the Czech Bohemian composer Antonin Dvořák. Brings us to end to this evening's program. Thank you, Lucy, for barking in all the wrong places and for having a big bark. Lucy gets into a barking frenzy outside sometimes. Hey, Lucy. Little Lucy. Thank you for everyone who's joined me this evening. Thank you for Johan for helping out the technical side and the technical support this evening. And of course, if you are able to support me, I'm still depending entirely on voluntary donations. This is coming, of course, more or less to the end of our free streams. As from July, there is going to be changes ahead, of course, with our streams being only visible on fewer platforms and most likely behind a gated viewing channel, so you will have to pay either per stream or for a monthly fee to be able to see them. Next Saturday is the last then, a really stupendous requested Dante's and music by Maurice Ravel. It's going to be a one to our free public streams, but our program does carry on. As I say, you will find more information about that if you're on our mailing list or at our website in coming weeks coming. And thank you for all of those. All of you have been supporting me, and I really do hope that you continue in this more organized fashion and more organized manner to be able to continue supporting me and have maybe a more coherent and dependable way of actually bringing these streams and the remuneration for them together in one place. Look after yourselves, stay well. It's very, very cold. I know I'm probably going to put on a fire, make a fire now, and having a really nice, beautiful glass of wine, which I think I deserve at this point, and I think Johan's heading for the same, possibly a beer or something as well. And we are going to hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening, and look forward to seeing you next time. Look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Keep well and stay well. Look after yourselves.